Goodness. Alright, welcome back everyone to round 4 of this Dryline Racing League calendar. We are here in Monaco for what's sure to be one of the most bonkers races of the season, I'm sure. As we head to Monaco for the very first time in Dryline Racing League. Never been here before, for obvious reasons that it is, of course, one of the most prestigious and hardest races on the Formula One calendar. But we can head down to the trackside and see who is going to be the first man to set a lap. And we may not have been here for a while, but Dylan is still keeping those traditions up. He will be the first man to set a lap time around the streets of Monaco, and then we have the two Aston Martins out behind him. But last time out, we went to Imola, where KP Games took home his, I think, fourth victory of the season. So that championship is third victory, I think. Am I done? I honestly don't know at this point. Yeah, fourth victory of the season so far. Mike took home P2, F1 Lewis P3, and Keanu in P4. Koru obviously got banned because he is a massive wanker and kept ghosting inside the Ferraris to put them off their lap times. But he's gone, and we have a new face in that Red Bull, Kevin _44 fan, so he'll be looking to prove himself for his first race in Dryline Racing League, coming to Monaco. But Dylan is still on his lap, and there's been no validation and no crash so far. Dylan seems to be flying out there on the streets of Monaco into Rascasse, and then the final corner before completing his first lap of the session. And you can see what kind of benchmark it's going to be. Mike has retired from the session. The man that took P2 in the last race is out of it very early on. A crash there on the left hand side, so it's not going to be the day in qualifying. He's going to be starting from last on the grid. But we have some more people crossing the line. I believe Mink is just starting his lap time with a Ferrari just starting as well, and then we've got Gagli coming out the final corner, opening up the DRS, which doesn't exactly do a lot, but gives you a bit more speed down the straight, and he is well off the pace at the moment. Ghost has a little train forming behind him in the the Alpine of Pampoli. Goes across the line and stays in P8, so not a great lap to start things off from him. Red Cow Racing is just starting his lap, and BN Artem is just completing his first lap of the session. His teammate currently sat in P2. He goes into into P3, a tenth behind his teammate in P2, half a second the gap to KP, with currently 1:10.9 being the fastest time of the session. We have some more drivers towards the back. Red Cow Racing in the first sector. F1 Lewis is just completing his lap on the medium tyre, so a bit of variation. Thomas, Ming and F1 Lewis all choosing the medium tyre. F1 Lewis slots into P6, 1.2 off the pace, and then I think that was an improvement from Gagli, who goes up into P4, 6/10 of what KP Games can do. So at the moment, KP Games sit quite nicely with a comfortable gap to the drivers behind. We still have not seen his teammate or the Mercedes. Robin is starting his lap, so Red Cow Racing is invalidated. Kevin still in the pits. I don't think there actually is a lot of drivers on a lap. We'll stick with Reese Thomas and see how he can handle the second half of this lap into the no-goal chicane. He's within the white lines, no invalidation so far. We have yellows flying around. I believe that's for the drivers behind him. So most people have set their first lap times of the session and headed back into the pit lane. We're still waiting on 4 drivers. Mike obviously has crashed out of the session, so he will not be taking any further part in Q1 and Q2 as well as Q3. F1 Lewis has invalidated, and then we got RPM Robin, who also has invalidated. He is going to go for a second flying lap. Pampoli has gone 3/10 up on his previous delta, purple middle sector. You see where this lap puts him in the order. With this pace, he can currently go up into P7, and as he crosses the line, goes up into P5, a second off the pace. But that's a decent lap time from the Alpine. A few more drivers out on track at the moment, but we will go with the Williams as he tries to tackle the streets of Monaco. At the moment, there is only 3 drivers dropping out, and that'll be Mike for definite. Robin needs to get a lap on the board, and Kevin is yet to exit the pit lane. So 10 minutes remaining in this session. Robin looked like he cut the chicane there, but keeps it valid. His teammate getting out the way pretty nicely for him, and he can carry on his merry way into the swimming pool section, one of the cleanest sections if you do hick it up on a fast lap. But Robin so far looks to be going pretty nicely, and as he crosses the line, it's going to be P12 for the Williams, 3.3 seconds off the pace. So I assume there'll be a lot more time to find in that Williams. But Red Cow Racing also just starting his lap time. So let's go on board with the Mercedes for a lap of Monaco. A very strong lap from the Mercedes, showing how quick and fast these corners do come at you at Monaco, solving himself in the P4, 5.5 tenths off the pace for the moment, but I think he is going for a second flying lap. Mike's tyre is up there next to the barrier. But we'll continue with Red Cow Racing. I don't think this is another push lap. I think this is his in lap, so we will go with BN Artem, who has put in a 53.2 for that middle sector. Dylan currently sat in P2 in the Alfa Romeo, so a very strong showing from the Italian team so far. No improvement on lap time for now. There you can see everyone's laps. So BN Artem currently with an 11.5. Dylan an 11.4, and KP Games just sneaking into the 110 with a 110.989. And we can ride on board with Kevin Van, who is about to start his lap, first lap of the session, with 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. He has left it a bit late, so that does of course build up the pressure, but I'm sure he can provide the lap time that is needed to get into the Q2 session. Ghost 44, currently the only man to set a lap time and be in the drop zone at the same time. Mike obviously is going to start from the back of the grid, but we have a big bundle of cars coming out the pit lane, managed to get out of the way pretty nicely, and Kevin can continue on with his lap time as he rides up the hill into the next left-hander, where you've got to pull the steering wheel to the left and back to the right as you now travel down the hill into the next two hairpins. Keeps us pretty straight line, hooking up the car on the right-hand side, and then one of the slowest corners in F1, downhill left hairpin into the right, and you have one more right-hander before you enter the tunnel for the first and last time, and you can get on to the second part of the lap. So far, no big mistakes from the Red Bull, getting a bit deep on the Noval chicane there, but seems to be all right for now. And then we head on to the swimming pool section, purple middle sector from Kevin Fan, and this swimming pool section looks pretty nice. A little twitch on the back of that Red Bull, but nothing would spin him out, and he rounds the final corner. He can get his foot flat to the floor and hit the line, and it's going to be a 1:11.1, slots into P2 just behind his teammate that are now merely separated by 2/10. So we have a Red Bull 1-2, Alfa Romeo 3-4, and there is no sign of the second Mercedes, and Red Bull currently sat in P11 and 10, but don't forget they use the medium tyre to start the session, so they will have an extra pair of soft tyres come the end of Q3 and maybe Q2 if they are needed there. So coming to the end of quali now, we have Robin 1.2 seconds up on his previous delta, crossing the line, going up to P9 1.1 off the pace, but it's a good improvement from the Williams, and that's where I would expect him to be, just behind the Alfa Romeo pin and ahead of Thomas, who also set his lap on the medium tyre, I believe. Reece Thomas, no improvements on that lap, so he's going to have to go for a second flyer. I'm sure he would like to improve that position, because I'm sure those behind him will get further up the order, and 4.5 tenths in the first sector is a great improvement from the McLaren, whose teammate currently sits plumb last on the grid. So depending on how aggressive he can be, this could be a torrid day for one half of the McLaren garage, and I'm sure they will want a better day for Reece Thomas, hoping to make it into that top 10, who at the moment is covered by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different constructors inside the top 10. So it just shows you it's not all about the car as Reece Thomas hits the barriers, and I'm sure that will be damage on his right end plate. No visual damage, but I'm sure that will come up on his MFD, and he has invalidated. So he's going to need to go in, get a new wing, and come back out as he spins it in the pit lane. Finally manages to get in there as he gets a Williams parked up his backside, but he is into the pit lane and can change that wing. Ben Artem is out there again. I believe he just hit the wall. Maybe I'm mistaken. Well, he's back into the pit lane, so I assume something happened to him. There we go, back on board with Josh Jess Gaming. He needs to get out the bottom 5 at the moment. Currently sat in P16, 3.4 seconds to the leaders, and 8 tenths to P15. So he's going to need a big improvement on the next lap, as this lap he has invalidated time. I believe that was even before the first corner, if I watched correctly. So this is not going to be the lap for him, and the time is running out. 2 minutes and 45 seconds are left on that clock. Ghost 44 is going to need this 1.2 second improvement if he wants to get anywhere near that P15. He goes into P14, 2.2 seconds off the pace. Reece Thomas is now worrying in the back of that McLaren garage after he hit his wing on his way around. He's currently sat in P15 and 1/10 to the drop zone. So can Fadesy cause an upset to the McLaren garage and have two drivers out as Josh bins it on the wall in the left-hand side, and those two tyres coming off of that Alpine as he enters into the swimming pool section. I don't think there's going to be anyone coming for the time being. We're going to have Red Cow Racing approach the stricken Alpine, but I don't think it's going to harm his lap time. He might just get a small shot. Yes, I don't think that offends. We might have put him offline a bit, but nothing to stop him as Robin also retires. I believe that is in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. So that will not be... that's just him retiring, so we can watch the other drivers at the end of this race. How Cameroon and Brazil? How's Brazil not smashed Cameroon? Brazil are fucking washed. Anyway, Red Cow Racing has invalidated this lap time, and I'm sure he'll be pulling into the pit lane. He doesn't need to do more. He's got within 2.5 tenths of the Red Bulls, and this could be a very interesting qualifying session if he can get it done. But Ghost 44 now retires from the session in P15, so unless Fadesy can get into P15 or above, Ghost 44 will take no further part in Q2 if he manages to get through, but that means Fadesy also has to set a lap that's 4 tenths quicker, but didn't have the time. I didn't realise time was going so quickly. Fadesy is out in P16. F1 Lewis, Thomas, Mink, Dylan, Kevin, KP Artem, and Red Cow Racing have all taken the checkered flag. We wait now for the last of them, but everyone else is through. Reese Thomas is driving backly. I'm pretty sure you get disqualified for that. I mean, yeah, it's really funny, but I swear you get disqualified. Yeah, you're cool, mate. Anyway, Jameer is going to carry on with his lap, 4.5 tenths up on his previous delta as he goes round the final corner. Get a little snap as he comes through Raskas, but as he crosses the line, he's going to improve his P13. Well, he's not. He's going to improve his time, but he's going to stay in P13. Gagley is going to be the next man to finish, but he is in the pit lane. Am I out now? Q2. Yeah, you're out because you crashed it. That's how you get out. Yeah, I know you're a ghost. You binned it, so you're out. That's what happens. Unlucky, mate. Anyway, that is the end of Q1, and we have an Alfa Romeo that tops the order, followed by 2 Red Bulls. BN R10 TTV is going to lead Q1 here, ahead of the reigning champion KP Games, and his teammate Kevin 44 finishes Q1 in P3. Red Cow Racing stepping in the Mercedes, finishes Q1 P4. Dylan in P5. Gagley in the AlphaTauri P6, with Kiernan inside the top 10 with that Aston Martin near Pampoli, Mink, Robin and Thomas and F1 Lewis getting through on the medium compounder tyre, and they have Reese Thomas, one of the only men to get through and ahead of Ghost 44, Fadesy, Josh and Mike, who crashed out early on in the session. that is the end of Q1, and we can move forward now to Q2. And this looks to be very interesting. Could we have an Alfa Romeo on pole position? Would be mad. Anyway, we can move forward to the second part of qualifying. Artem thought he got pole position. My boy did not realise that it is Q2 and Q3 before he even thinks about starting on that front row. But we have two medium compounded tyres on BN Artem and Dylan. So both both Alfa Romeos choosing the medium tyre, and we can go on again to the second part of qualifying. Dylan is going to be the first man to set a lap time. Dylan is currently sat in P12 in the standings. He has currently scored twice. Sorry, he hasn't scored twice. Am I done? No, he scored once, sorry, in Imola, bringing home P8 for Alfa Romeo and 4 points to the table. His teammate Green Dragon is scored points in Saudi Arabia, but he is not here tonight for reasons I don't know of. But let's continue on. We have Dylan starting his first lap of Q2. You can see if he can get into the top 10 shootout. Dylan's first lap is a 1:11.9, so a decent time from the Alfa Romeo considering the medium tyres that he has on, but KB Games has invalidated along with Kevin 44, but Thomas has not, and he is going to complete his first lap on the soft compounder tyres, and an 11.3 takes him to the top of Q2 for now, but we are yet to see a lot of lap times. So Gagli also invalidated. Pam Polly is going to cross the line and finish his lap in P2, so 4/10 off the leader, and my bad. Red Cow Racing has invalidated, and I think Mink is going to be the next man to set a genuine lap time, so we'll go through the swimming section with him and then into Raskas and the final 2 corners to complete his first lap in Q2, after I believe he all as well as Thomas and F1 Lewis also chose the medium tyre for Q1, so he's currently into P2 behind his good mate Thomas, so 1, 2, 3. KP is into P3. I'm sure he'll be looking to improve to the front, but not on this lap. Let's go on board with the Ferrari for his first lap in Q2 as he goes up through Massenet and past the casino and towards, and F1 Lewis is out of the session. I didn't really see the accident. I think he hit his right tyre on the inside of the right-hander, and that Ferrari is going to be starting from the back of the grid. F1 Lewis currently sat in P12, which was his default position, has crashed out at the casino square, and he is out of qualifying and a maximum position of P12, but I'm sure both Williams will set a lap time, so he's going to drop to P14. So we have a McLaren out of position and a Ferrari, and we only have 9 minutes remaining in this Q2 session. Red Car Racing currently sat in P2. Just straight lined it. Brilliant. I mean, there was no need. To be fair, there was no need to take the section, but you know. Anyway, we move. Gagli is going to be the next man to set a lap time. 9.8 seconds currently up on his previous Delta, and he crossed the line, goes up into P7 with a 1:12.0. But Kevin is at the Nouvelle chicane and continuing on with his lap through to back now, and then into the swimming pool section. And what a camera angle that is. He just about makes it over the chicane, hits the wall into Raskas, and I'm sure he must have got damage from that. He looked like a hard hit into that barrier, but it's not going to affect the lap time too much. He's going to cross with a 1:11.0 and goes to the top of the timing sheets for now, but we still have 8 minutes remaining, and I'm sure people will improve on what was not even the fastest time in Q1, but we will see how this session develops. BN Artem is currently out for his first lap. But carrying on with Artem on the medium tyre, so trying to save a set of softs. He's going to cross the line and take P2 on the mediums. I think this guy might be a bit quick. He's currently P2 in an Alfa Romeo, and he might be in contention for pole position. If he carries on as he are, he's going to have to take it away from KP Gamestone and Kevin 44 fan, who seems to have a lot of pace in the Red Bull, as well as 2 Mercedes, and Thomas at the moment is going pretty well. Pampoli left the session. I'm sure that's just a connection problem, so. And he'll be back once he's joined back. Anyway, Artem also straight lines the chicane, and we have 2 drivers currently on the track, and that is both of the Alfa Romeos. Sorry, Dylan completing his lap at the moment. Currently sat in P8 with a 1:11.9. I'm sure he'll be looking to improve towards his teammate. So going to have to be a good lap from him. A few more drivers have now entered the track, and he's currently 6/10 up on his previous time. So Dylan is flying at the moment in the Alfa Romeo. Both are, to be honest, currently sat in P2 and P8, but I'm sure the one in P8 is looking to improve his time, and he is going to go up to P3 or the 1:11.2, and this could be a fight for pole position involving two Alfa Romeos, which have been nowhere all season, if we're being truly honest. They've only scored a few points, but this could be the day for the team from Italy. But let's not jump ahead. There is still a long way to go in this session. We have another 12 minutes before 39 laps. 39 laps of Monaco ahead of us. But for now, let's discuss those grid positions, as Rhys Thomas is the next man to go out and start a lap. Currently sat in P11 with the slowest time of anyone that's set one so far, a 13.1. But I'm sure there's a lot more pace that McLaren is yet to discover. 2/10 behind his previous delta as he exits the first sector. And I think this is a cool down lap. Yeah, so he's going to go for it again after this. Anyway, Rhys Thomas is going to go for it again, so we will stay on board with him. He has a little bit of traffic with a Williams ahead of him. Don't know what that Williams that he is, so he's going to have to deal with it from the guy in front of him. Might be given a bit of dirty air, but into Mirabeau and down towards the Grand Hotel hairpin for the third time. Into 48 for we can get under the tunnel and come out the other side to be faced with the Novo chicane. Red Power Racing goes into P1 with a 1:10.4, which is extremely quick, 6/10 quicker than Kevin, and that lap is amazing from the Mercedes. Rhys Thomas is currently only 2/10 up. He's really struggling around here. I'm sure he's blaming the car, but there's an Alfa Romeo currently sat in P3 and another one sat in P4, so nothing this McLaren can complain about. He now crosses the line, and it's only going to be good enough for P10, so he's a 10th ahead of the Aston Martin. Kinnan is not going to set a lap time. And it is all down to the Williams. That Williams had a horrible right-hander there. The line all wrong, but Robin could be the man that upsets this Aston Martin. And we could see a Williams through into we could see a Williams through into Q3 ahead of the McLaren, who's currently sitting there waiting eagerly to see what kind of lap time this Williams can set. Rhys Thomas does have another lap, but I doubt he's using it to go again. A big snap from Robin as he comes out of Rasgas and around the final corner. Is it going to be Q3 for the Williams? He crosses the line, and it is P10 for the Williams, 7/10 quicker than Rhys Thomas, and he makes it through into the top 10 shootout unless Jameer, his teammate, can knock him out of qualifying. Jameer crosses the line and finishes P11. So unfortunately for him, one Williams is through, but it's not the one that he would have wanted. He is out in P11 or 112.3. We're going to need another 3 tenths to secure the top 10 shootout. We can move forward now to the last part of qualifying. So there you go. Williams, Reese Thomas, Kidd, and F1 Lewis, pushing out of this race, are all out in Q2. And when this finishes, we can go into the final part of qualifying. There you go then. Red Cow Racing leads in a Mercedes with a 110.4, 6 tenths the gap to the Red Bull in P2. BN Artem in P3 with a 111.097 on the medium tyres. Mink is through in the Mercedes, as well as Dylan, Thomas, Gagley. KP Games currently sat in P8, but that was on the medium tyre. Pampoli in P9 in the Alpine. And then you have Robin, who made it in at the expense of his teammate, who sits in P11 with a 112.3. Reese Thomas out in the McLaren. Kiernan Teat, who didn't get his final lap in qualifying in the Aston Martin with a 112.8, is going to start from P13. F1 Lewis, if he does decide to stop having a hissy fit, will start in P14. But that is the end of Q2, and we can move forward to the top 10 shootout. Anyway, here is Q3, and there is only 11 minutes to set the fastest lap time these guys can. No more medium tyres will be used, I doubt. And Thomas making an absolute meal of the hairpin to let a guy who wasn't even on a fast lap through. But anyway, Thomas is not going to be the first man to set a lap. The first man who set a lap will be Kevin. No, I take that back. Of course I take that back. It's going to be Dylan, the first man to set a lap time. I'm sure he has 2 sets of the soft tyres left. 2 fresh sets of soft. As he can get on his way through Saint Devot and up the rising hill into the next left-hander and the Casino Square as he makes his way down towards the next right-hand hairpin. And 18.7 for the first sector is pretty handy from the Alfa Romeo into the slowest corner in Formula 1 and back down even further all the way to the steep front, where you now exit through the tunnel and come out the other side to see the Novo chicane right in your face. Quick trip to the left and back to the right, keeping the car within the white lines and through now the left-hander of Tabak and into the swimming pool section. There's the camera angle, and through to the right and then the left, keeping it out of the barriers on the right-hand side. A little graze with the front right from Dylan, but nothing to give him damage. And as he exits the final corner, yellow's in sector 2. A 1:11.1 for Dylan is his first lap in qualifying. Thomas has had something, some sort of adventure. Seems to be alright though. Red Cow Racing be the next man after Bianata, who is 0.078 down on his teammate Kevin, 6.5 tenths back. Red Cow Racing 4.5 tenths back. Gagley 8.5 tenths back. Thomas is going to be 13.5 seconds back. Robin, compared to the front two, is going to sit in P6 1.7 back. At the moment, we have an Alfa Romeo on pole position, but KP Games is yet to set a lap time, and he's invalidated his first one as he now starts his lap. And we can go on board for the first time with the Red Bull. fuck's sake. How long have I been on mute for? That is so bad. Rip. Oh my days. Let me save that. Alright, boys, I'll be back in a minute. Fuck's sake. Anyway, Red Cow Racing into the lead of the Grand Prix. KP Games in P2, Dylan in P3, P4 and 5 for Gagli. BN Artem is going to go down the inside of Thomas. There's no way through. 4 side by side down there, but they're going to make it happen. Thomas is going to have to give it up on the inside. DN Artem also gets spun. There's side by side between Mink and Ghost at the back of the queue. Ghost manages to get through. There's damage for the Williams on the left end plate, I believe. Or that might have been the Aston Martin. F1 Lewis is not racing because he's a massive pussy. Mike stays P17 cautious on this first lap. But Red Cow Racing has stolen the lead away from KP Games and leads the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's get everything sorted. Sorry, I was pissing and I missed the race start. Josh JS Gaming is out of the session on the first lap. And there's a big kerfuffle at the back. I believe Fadesy has spun it. Looks to be Mink has dropped to P15. So a horrible start from him. Everyone is on the medium or hard compound tyres. Ghost has found his way up into P12. Let's get a quick see who moved where. So not a lot of places gained. Reese Thomas up to P13. Up 3 places into P9. There's a predicted strategy, a one stop from lap 17 to 22, or if you're a massive weirdo, you can go for a 2-stop depending on the amount of safety cars we get here today. But everyone seems to be keeping it pretty clean so far. Dylan is on the podium. Gagli P4, BN Artem P5, P6 for Thomas, and that's going to be a move from the Red Bull on Pam Polly going down the inside of the Novell chicane. Almost spins Pam Polly round as Pam Polly turns in, as it is his corner on the inside. And Kevin is going to have to think of a better way to pass this Red Bull if he wants P7. He's not going to be able to do it at Rasgas, but he's getting very close to the back of that Alpine. Red Cow Racing now just needs to control the pace of the race and bring home that bacon. Kevin, though, is going to try steal P7 off the Alpine. He has Reese Thomas close behind him and a big gap to Jameer in P10. Kiernan is looking to get past him. Is there going to be a move into the next corner from Kevin? He looks to be a bit far back. He's going to go for it. He's going to send it down the inside. He's going to go for the move. Pam Polly is not going to leave him the space, and there might have been wing damage there for the Red Bull. It doesn't look like it from the visuals, but there might have been line wing damage. Nothing came off But no, there's no way you're going to go side by side there. Kevin just sent it down the inside from Max Verstappen esque move. And that was not it. That was not it, my friend. Anyway, they have lost connection to the top 6. Pampoli is an absolute slow coach at the moment. Kevin looking to get past and catch up to that queue, but Kevin can complain all day. This is Monaco, lad. You're not going to be passing people, and I'm sure Kevin has now got damage as he swerves under braking and enters the pit lane. So damage for the Red Bull, and that I would say is karma for your absolute wank attempt at a move on Pampoli. KP Games though keeping the pressure on the Mercedes. 1-2 at the moment. You wouldn't think you'd be seeing Mercedes fighting a Red Bull with the cars we have in this game, but Red Cow Racing is putting KP Games in his place at the moment, and there's going to be no way KP is passing these guys anytime soon. But you can see Red Cow Racing is controlling that pace with Dylan, Gagli, Bien Artem and Thomas, but Thomas seems to be dropping back a bit off of him. Ghost 44 is being caught up by an AI. So he must have spun or stopped. Nobody has stopped apart from Kevin, so not a lot of wing damage at the moment, but we will focus on the front two, are nearly separated by 6.5 tenths as KP Games actually hits the wall there and goes. So this is going to be a great opportunity for Dylan if he wants to pass, but there's going to be no moves into turn 1 because it's Monaco and everyone's running 50-50 wings, so everyone is an absolute snail on the straights, but look in the corners how much they can pull away. Red Cow Racing is being fished back in within the 1 second mark, 9 tenths the gap at the moment. Kevin is in P15 currently, Robin P16 and Fadesy down in P17, about 25, yeah, about 30 seconds off the pace. So yeah, pretty poor for Fadesy if being honest here. Needs to improve on that. I think he had contact with Josh on the first lap. So yeah, very interesting one. KP Games is still hunting for that coveted P1 position, and I'd say is the most skilled win of the season, because you obviously have to get in front and then controlling the race can be quite difficult come the pit stop phase because of undercuts, overcuts, safety cars, VSCs, all of that malarkey can really mess it up. But KP Games is about 6.5 tenths behind the Mercedes at the moment. Dylan is 1 second back, so maybe Red Cow Racing is picking up the pace a bit, but is managing it quite nicely at the moment. Thomas now pits, and that is a very early pit stop. I doubt that. Oh, for fuck's sake, Fadesy. Fadesy has retired from the session. I assume he's crashed. That's what Fadesy does. But we'll go on board. Sure. No, there's going to be a marking the way. Yeah, on the right hand side. How do you do that in a race situation? Anyway, Fadesy is out of the session for the 50th time. Anyway, Red Cow Racing leads P1, KP Games P2. The top 5 has not changed apart from Red Cow Racing obviously taking the lead into turn 1. And then we have a little battle involving both McLarens, Pampoli, Jameer and Tin. So that is a battle for the highest point paying position, which in that queue is P6. But they're going to pick up the pace if they want to get near Pampoli. And Ghost 44. I don't know whether he's got damage. Although I'm just going to check something. No. No, stop. Stop. Alright, my game's froze. Bloody brilliant. can't move. Are you dumb? Oh, fuck's sake. I'll join back. Hold up, babes.